Hey, welcome to the Continuing Wine. Hey, welcome. Hey. What's this, Groundhog Day? Hey, welcome to the Continuing Winemaking Series. Hey, welcome to the Continuing Winemaking. Welcome to the Continuing Winemakers. Why am I saying that? That's not
I
the
don't
right
know.
thing.
I don't know. It's like the new year and you're already dead.
Welcome to the
Wine of the Month Club Classic Series for January of 2019.
Is it January? It is January.
Yes,
Wow.
it is January.
So as you know, we're doing this almost a month behind because we want everybody to have their wines in house before we talk about them. So that's why we're tasting the January wines. We're trying to do this live on Instagram, but it's not working. So tell me, Ed,
Yes, Paul.
the 40 years ago would be what? 2000?
1979.
79.
2000, yeah. Look, in November, it'll be 50 years since I called on your dad at Paso Wines and Spirits. Half
November?
a century. November.
Wow.
Half a century later. Okay, so the whites. The white was Franciscan Chardonnay, which
Francisco Chardonnay is still around.
Franciscan, yeah. Well, yeah, it's a big deal wine.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, so that was made by Justin Meyer, who also made Silver Oak, which is one of the top drawer Cabernets in California. And interesting story, most people don't know this. The reason why it was called Franciscan is because he studied to be a Franciscan monk. And then he decided, no, I want to have sex, so he quit. And he took another path, and winemaking was it. Very nice guy. Did a lot of tastings for us.
Yeah, that's funny.
And the Les Amis du Vin event that your dad was promoting was a vertical of Hansel and Stony Hill Chardonnays.
Wow.
And it cost $12.
Wow.
I know.
Those are like so that ties into this article you've been writing in the newsletter about some of the iconic things and I've had this conversation a lot lately for some reason. I had a conversation this morning with a chef about Bruce Noir coming and showing my dad the wines and his being the sales manager for Joseph Phelps and driving down here.
That's right.
And visiting 5 stores, PV Wines, Wally's, Duke of Bourbon, and then there were 2 others.
Yeah.
That was it. And they drive home. That was a sales manager.
There were 2. There was it. That was all the stores there were.
That's crazy. So I appreciate that research, Ed. It's really, really, really good.
Well, I'll tell you, I appreciated it more than you do because I'd forgotten, obviously, a lot of these wines, and I'm reading it. I'm going, you're kidding me, really?
I used to stock those things.
I understand that, but the fact is, I don't remember when we were doing these incredible Bordeaux's like Cognac Brown and for in the regular series. Those wines are like $70 now, and Dad was selling them for $3.49, $5.49. It was nuts, but it was fun. And there were some great stories in there too. And the red was a Coteaux.
Oh, we got to talk about the Coteaux. Who's? We just did one.
Lay something or another. I forgot.
Something. That's correct.
I didn't know who it was.
Well, was it Les or Les?
Les, L-E-S.
That means after there was a vowel after it. So was it A or an O or an I or what?
A-U. Les O.
Okay, the Les O.
Ramgo. Rambo.
We're getting close.
Yeah, but
Les O.
and it was so funny because I love the way your dad would write about the wine and say where it comes from and what the grapes are.
Yeah, well,
like you're talking to a 6-year-old.
We still do that.
Well, but people didn't know anything then. I mean, a lot of them still don't, but they think they do. That's the problem. And that's
Except our customers, of course.
Of course, our customers, of course. Well, no, they rely on us.
Our members. All right. There are things called biomarkers, right? They're like supposedly age-related
disease
effects on your ability to do things. One of them is balance, supposedly. The other is speed of opening a cork.
Yeah.
It's a very well-known medical thing.
It's actually the speed of opening the bottle. The cork is in it. Another one is being able to get the sentence correct. Hi, in case you didn't notice.
Hey, welcome to the Vintners Series. Is this January?
Jerkassic Park is what we got here.
I think it turns off. Hey, welcome to the Vintners Series for January 2019. Again, we're doing this 1 month and 30 days late because we want everybody to have their wines in-house so they can have a chance to share with the wines with us. And wow, we are just, I'm telling you, Ed, there's so much wine I think I told you earlier, I got 3 cases the other day from a competitor, full of wines. All of them, I'm going to say all of them. I've tasted about 30 of them so far, and 2 of them would have made the grade here, even on a least expensive club. But most of it's just junk, and it's so much. There's so much wine out there; it's ridiculous. And so we're very fortunate to get stuff that we got today.
Well, how long have they been in business?
They've been around for a little while, but I'm starting to realize. In fact, I had a conversation with this woman yesterday, the LA Times writer, and she was saying that her research is starting to produce the fact that the venture capitalists out there are starting to get totally disillusioned with this whole space. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Because here's the difference. And correct me if I'm wrong, but don't correct me if I'm wrong. When Dad started this, he was trying to help the consumer by picking wines at the beginning of the month so that he could have stuff out there that he recommended without having to walk over from the store every day, right? Right. So it wasn't a bottle sales formula. It was a consumer-centric formula. Help the customer find, and it was always, I've got $5 to spend, the boss is coming for dinner. That's what the main thing was.
Right.
If you turn around and you look at these Groupon guys and some of these other clubs, their business started as, I'm going to raise 15, 20, $60 million. I'm going to sell as much wine as I can as fast as I can. Bottle sales.
No,
right?
but what they do is they come up with a pro forma, which is total nonsense about this is what we're going to pay for it and this is what we're going to sell it for.
Right.
And there's such a huge markup that we're going to make tons of money. The problem is if nobody buys it, then you're not selling it to anybody.
But the mentality was, how much can we sell as fast as we can?
Yeah.
Not, let's make sure the consumer gets a great value on a great wine because we researched them for them. We had to bring in 50,000 gallon bladder of Argentinian Merlot, and we're going to bottle so much for ourselves, we're going to sell the rest off, and it's all junk. That's what the mentality is. Unlike this Colonial, leading into this, Ed, unlike this Colonial Pinot Noir, which is from Willamette Valley, which I'm so excited to be able to do a Willamette Valley wine because we haven't done one for a long time because the prices have gotten kind of crazy. But this is just, man, this is classic.
You know, the problem I have with this wine, these guys were such a pain in wanting to give me information because they didn't want it to get out where the grapes actually came from. And they came from a couple of really, really high-profile, expensive Pinot Noir vineyards in Oregon. And it drives me nuts when they do this. It's like, no, we don't want anybody to know because then they'll find out and they'll realize that we're selling our wine for too much money. Well, you really think that people are going to remember all that nonsense? No, of course not. They're going to forget it after the bottle's gone. But anyway.
The Willamette Valley, you know, is... We went there in '89 for the big Pinot Noir festival. They were still trying to figure it out. Most of the '89s were not very good.
No,
some of the high end ones like Bethel Heights, those were okay. And it took them a long time. It takes, first of all, Pinot Noir is finicky. Second, it has to adjust to its terroir, and the winemaker and the farmer have to decide and learn how to trellis it, all that to make sure it extracts it. But it still produces different Pinot Noir from what we're used to down here. And this one's classic. Got raspberry.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Fruit forward.
I mean, unbelievable, actually.
You know it's Pinot, but it's not Burgundian. I mean, it's just kind of cool.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, at $24 it's a steal because there is no such thing as cheap Oregon Pinot Noir.
There's not.
And the reorder price looks to be the same as the regular price.
The $17.48, that's right.
Yeah. So that's the regular price. And the reorder price is...
No, the $24 is the front line. $22 would be the member price, and $17.48 is the.
I see. Okay, now we
good help's hard to find it.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Oh.
So Bethel Heights. What was the other one that was famous back then?
Oh, there was Irie. There was one of the first guys, David Lett, with. Were one of the first guys to go there back in the '60s. And plant Pinot Noir.
You know what's fun about that is that raspberry and that cherry, dark cherry, that you don't see in other parts of the country.
Well,
in Pinot.
Oregon Pinot Noirs are definitely different. There's no question about that. I mean, it's a cooler climate. You're not going to get the big, bright cherry fruit that you're going to get. But I got, for $17.48, this is a killer bottle of wine. That's really good. I'm at a 97 for that.
It's a bargain twice the price.
Oh, goody.
This is our friend... Madame Claire Bourroy, Indigène de Champagne, and this is Heritage of France, imported heritage. And this is Sauvignon Blanc from the Côte de Peyriac, domain Pujol Izard. Now she actually travels to Europe for us and buys on our behalf. Mm-hmm. And this is one of them.
Well, I'll tell you, this wine is out of this world. It comes from the Provence, and I'm just amazed how far the Provence has come in the last 10 or 20 years, especially. Because I remember tasting Provence wines with your dad 20-something years ago. Most of them were pretty awful. Very, very few.
Oh yeah, that's changed a lot.
And the whites are what it's amazing now. I mean, we've got some incredible white wines here.
I love this
This is
anise
gorgeous.
character.
This is absolutely beautiful. This is more of the floral side of Sauvignon Blanc, not the grassy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's got flowers in it, fresh cut flowers. It's got some beautiful fruit in there,
there's
maybe a
some
little
herbs, too.
orange.
And I remember this wine opened up in a glass as well the other day when we were tasting it. People were loving it.
$22 on the shelf and $17.48 on the reorder price. I'm at a 97 on this one too. I think it was a wonderful wine.
I'm trying to pair it with something.
Pears, that's a good one. Let's just pair it with pears. Or crab cakes.
Mm-hmm.
And your score?
97.
Okay. You copycattering.
Capital. Protégé.
Oh.
Oh, come on, Ed.
Come on, Paul.
Oh. I have not figured this out yet. Tell me this 1790. I don't remember the story. I love the wines. We bought 3 of them.
1790 is the year that the Spanish settlers came from Spain and planted grapes in Monterey.
But there's something weird on this bottle because it's Paso, and it's clearly Paso, but it says Wine Club underneath. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
But I don't know what that... We didn't order the label. This is their brand. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand how that... if that was just used or something. I don't understand.
This was made for a wine club that will remain nameless that couldn't afford it, so they didn't sell it to them.
Is that what it is?
Yes. Since you must know.
Well, here's an interesting story because this is what's happening, and not only do we get wines like this, but the next month Vintners has got some incredible wines that I got a great deal on to put in the Vintners, and I got them because they were all bought and written about for a wine club to be.
That never went.
It never went, and it was because the celebrity that this was going to be focused on got tied up in the Me Too crap.
Oh.
And they decided not to launch the club, but they had all this wine.
Well, the real key, to tell you the truth, boys and girls, if you want to know the real underlying factor here, the biggest thing and the biggest reason why people like to sell the wine in the month club is because they get paid. You would not believe how many stories there are of people that sold wine to somebody and then didn't get the money for it.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
That happens a lot, and especially on wine clubs like this where they think they're going to sell a lot of wine and they don't, so they don't pay them, and they can't buy any more. So now the producer's got to say, what do I do with the rest of it? You know, they want to make sure they get paid, even if they're losing money on it. They got to get paid. They can't just give people wine. That's not what you're in business for.
You know if these are West Side grapes because they're not as it's not as dense as the East Side grapes, but it's wonderfully opulent wine.
I think it's probably a little bit of both because there's not a lot of Cabernet on the west side of Paso, and Paso is really 2 different areas because we're doing a Chardonnay in February that's unbelievable from Paso, but I know the vineyard it came from way over on the west side. Look, these guys just know how to make wine. That's just really what it is, you know, and a lot of it is selection too.
Well, yeah, it's the grapes, but I'm just fascinated by it because we did a lot of the Broken Earth wines in the last few months, and they were big, opulent East Side Paso red wines. And here I still get that fruit component, but I'm not getting the rich, overdone weight, and which I like just as much. It's just a little leaner, but it's really good.
1748.
This is a 98 for me.
Yeah, I'm too. I mean, because this is a wine. I opened it literally. I didn't even gas it. I didn't even put any CO2 in there to preserve it. And the next day, it was better.
Yeah,
I mean,
can see that. There's enough acid still.
That's all you want to know. Well, but it's integrated. Everything's all there. Okay. And
I agree, Ed. Isn't that great?
Time.
Isn't that great?
And last but not least, Alex Garacci.
And you confused this wine with one last month. You were talking about Alex, and it wasn't his wine, but this is the one you were talking about.
Right.
The Surf Swim, which maybe the local California beach goers know what this is, but I wonder if the rest of the country does. This is used to be the signs they put on the beach, and they didn't want the surfers running over the swimmers. So when you're in the water and you look back toward the beach, you could see a sign that would say "surf swim," which side of the buoy you should be on.
Sort of hard to understand how a guy from Chile would have come up with that.
I don't know either. Yeah, but Alex is a great guy, and I don't know if you know this, but Alex came to us about 15 or 20 years ago, and I gave him a container order for some Chardonnay. I think it was Santa Rita, not Santa Rita, whatever he was selling.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And he left the office. And he went, "Wait a minute, I guess I'm a real business now because I got to bring in a container of Chardonnay."
Well.
So,
He's been a victim of the wine industry too,
Big time.
getting a little too fast and furious too quickly. But Alex was against the grain. I mean, he was, as I pointed out in the article, he was bringing in some ridiculous grape nobody ever heard of from Argentina called Malbec.
Yeah. This is really good.
Oh, it's great.
A little bit of oak and butterscotch and
just enough to tell you it's there. Not like, oh God, yeah, Jesus, let me pave my deck with this.
really spectacular. This is a 97 for me. 98. 2016. Rich. I mean, anybody that loves Chardonnay is going to love this, whether they like Rombauer or the other stuff.
It's the balance, though. It's so perfectly balanced. Nothing hits you all at once. Beginning, middle, end, and that's what you want. I mean, that's our show. So I'm at a 97 as well. That was the Vintners Series for 2019.
Oh, it's broken.
Darn!
I
I
know,
hate
it's
it when
gonna
that happens.